get started here. 6:15, just a minute. Coming to you live from Boulder. Alright, what's up, YouTube family? What's up? Let's get going here. Hey, what's up, Buffs family? Welcome back to Love and Liberty, your ultimate source for in-depth analysis, score predictions, and live coverage from Boulder for all Buffs football events. Today we're diving deep into the highly anticipated matchup between the Colorado Buffaloes and the Utah Utes. This game has huge implications for both teams, especially CU, and you're not going to want to miss this comprehensive breakdown and our score prediction at the end. So let's get started. Let's go to our first scene here. Greetings to everyone tuning in live. Much love wherever you're at in the world, from Boulder to you and yours. Let's get this analysis going here. All right. First up, let's set the stage. The Buffs come into this game with a stellar 7-2 record, ranked number 18 in the AP poll. They're sitting pretty in second place in the Big 12. They've got their eyes set on the conference championship and a potential spot in the college football playoff. On the other side, the Utah Utes are at 4-5, looking to bounce back from a tough stretch, and they want to try and play spoiler to Colorado's postseason dreams. Do not let the record fool you. Utah has a history of rising to the occasion in big games. All right, let's go on to the next set of stats here. As you guys can see, we moved up to 17th yesterday evening. Kansas State right in front of us. We will jump them if we beat BYU in the Big 12 championship. Right now, we're controlling our own destiny. We got Utah, who's furious about that game with BYU, if you guys saw that, even threatening to leave the conference. Their offense is very injured. We'll get into that. The defense is still pretty healthy and very strong defense. And make no mistake, they want to play spoiler. All right. Let's get into the numbers that could really decide this matchup. Offensively, the Buffaloes lighting up the scoreboard, averaging 32.4 points per game compared to Utah's 22.1. Colorado's offense racks up 398.6 yards per game, with a whopping 320.2 of those yards coming through the air thanks to Shedeur, who is completing 73% of his passes. Basically 3 out of 4 passes. Utah, however, they lean on their ground game, averaging 150.4 rushing yards per game. Running back Micah Bernard is a key player, 885 yards on the season, averaging 5.9, almost 6 yards a carry. So that's what we got going on here. Let's go to the next slide. All right, on defense, Utah holds a slight edge, mainly due to some of our earlier games in the season when we're looking at stats. They're allowing just 17.1 points per game against Colorado's 22.6. Utah's pass defense is particularly stout, giving up only 175 passing yards per game and holding their opponents to a 49% completion rate. But here's the kicker. Colorado's defense, they've been opportunistic. They've got 29 sacks and 64 tackles for loss, compared to Utah's 16 sacks and 55 tackles for loss. Let's talk about some key players. Of course, for Colorado, Shedeur, the maestro under center. 2,882 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, and a QB rating of 163.1. He's been virtually unstoppable. Insane. Travis, the versatile phenom. 69 receptions, 856 yards, 9 touchdowns, plus contributions on defense. He is the epitome of a true difference maker. And we got Isaiah leading our ground attack, 313 yards, 3 touchdowns. Didn't start playing as much until the latter half of the season. But he's going to be crucial for us to be able to control this game. The way we've been controlling the last few games, he's still averaging 4.1 yards a carry for all of his touches, which is phenomenal. That's what you want. What's 4 times 3? A first down. So, with his average, we should be able to just run the ball and get first downs. And a lot of times we just like to throw it. But when we feed Isaiah, he's been productive. We'll get into our injuries, but let's talk about Utah's key players here. We got Micah Bernard. He's their offensive cornerstone, running back. Nearly 900 yards rushing already this season. He's averaging close to 6 yards a carry. So even with backup quarterbacks, now we're going to be on our 4th string quarterback for Utah. We're going to get into that. But when you got a guy who's averaging 6 yards a carry and a defense who's locking people down, you can see how they competed with BYU. If that defense is clicking and the running back is moving the ball, if Micah Bernard is moving the ball, watch out. Then we got Van Fillinger. He's a disruptive force with 6 sacks on the season. And we've got Lander Barton, linebacker, 59 tackles, pretty much the anchor of their unit. Let's look at the last 5 games between both of these two teams. Colorado's won 4 out of the last 5, including an impressive 41-27 victory over Texas Tech last Saturday. Their only loss came against Kansas State, and that was without several key starters. Travis, as you guys all know, I don't have to tell you guys watching this channel. Utah's on a 5-game skid, but don't underestimate them. The Buffs cannot underestimate them. No matter how much we're favored, no matter how much more physically talented we are, no matter how many more weapons, because they have a great coach, they've got the whole world watching, and any given Saturday, you guys already know, they're furious right now. They need revenge, and we are the target, which is, CU is a prime target for every team they play, but especially Utah right now. They have nothing to lose. Their players are going to put it all on the line in this game. They lost to BYU by 1 point from a very controversial call. You guys can look that up if you don't already know. They're hungry for redemption, and they would love nothing more than to ruin Colorado's season and our Big 12 championship and playoff aspirations. All right, let's talk about injuries that could play a significant role. For Colorado, Jimmy Horn, questionable. I need to look this up because I was just looking up the injury report and it didn't say. But somebody in some of the chats somewhere said that he slipped on a tortilla or got injured by a tortilla. I don't know if that was a joke. I would love to know because that's insane. Jimmy is incredibly missed whenever he's not on the field. He is also a difference maker, whether it's returning kicks, punts, yards after the catch, catching one tough over the middle, holding on to it when he gets hit. You guys know we need Jimmy, so best wishes to Jimmy. And we got Michael Welch continuing to deal with the hamstring issue. He was carrying the brunt of the load before this hamstring issue, and then Isaiah has really stepped up. And again, Isaiah averaging 4 yards a carry, that's exactly what you want. If he can do that against Utah, it's going to be a good day. For Utah, we got Brant, I think his name is pronounced Keithy. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. One of their main weapons out for the season from the BYU game. And then I just found out Brandon Rose, their 3rd string quarterback, is now out for the season. So Who's going to be playing quarterback for Utah? I mean, with everything we've been talking about, these are probably the two most significant impacts to a team that was already struggling. Uh, so let's switch scenes here. How do these teams really stack up against each other? Colorado's offense versus Utah's defense. Colorado's offense versus Utah's defense. The Buffs' high-flying passing game with Shedeur is going to really test Utah's strong secondary. It's a key matchup. Shedeur versus Utah's secondary. Then we've got Utah's offense, beleaguered offense, versus Colorado's ever-improving, ever-hungry defense full of dogs. With their top QBs out, Utah's going to lean heavily on their run game with Bernard. Colorado's defense has been very effective at creating negative plays, so watch out for them to contain Micah Bernard the way they contained Taj last week. Special teams can also be a factor as always. You kind of ignore it until they break that big kickoff return, whether it's you swinging the game back in your favor or putting the game away, or whether it's an opponent hitting you with a skill player out of nowhere and putting their team back in the game or pulling ahead. Special teams is going to be a factor. Both teams have reliable kickers. Both teams have potential for impactful returns, punting, and kick returns. Let's look at the betting odds for this game real quick. All right, for those interested in the betting angle, Colorado is favored by 10 points. And the trends are that Colorado has covered the spread in their last 7 games. Utah has failed to cover in 4 of their last 5. The over-under is set at 47.5 points. And with Colorado's offensive firepower, the over is looking enticing. All right, it's that time. It's time for my score prediction. Considering all the factors, the high-octane offense we've got with Colorado, Utah's struggling offense due to injuries, and the motivation that's present on both sides, I predict. Drum roll. I need a drum roll. Do I have a drum roll? Hold up. Yeah, that's not a drum roll. My bad. I can't find... Okay, I got my prediction slide. Here we go. I believe Colorado Buffaloes 34, Utah Utes 17. I think Colorado continues the march towards a Big 12 championship with a convincing win. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this prediction? Do you see an upset brewing? You think Colorado's going to win by more, less? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to smash the like button for us to help the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you love Buffs content. We're doing a lot of live content this week from the game events. And if you want to see that, hit the notification bell so you don't miss whenever we're going live, like tomorrow for Shedeur's pop-up. Friday night for the pep rally on Pearl Street. Saturday morning, Big 12 noon kickoff. We'll be live streaming from all of this, guys. After that, the Buffs walk into the stadium. After that, live streaming the on-field warm-ups before kickoff and Ralphie running. So it's going to be a good week. Hopefully we cap it off with the dub. And all right, that's what I got for you guys as far as my analysis. I'm going to get in, see who's watching live, see what you guys have to say, see what your thoughts are, put some comments up on the screen, and then we'll get out of here so we can see you again. Like I said, tomorrow, Shedeur's pop-up. He just announced that today. I don't know what the filming situation is going to be like, but I'll be there. I'll be ready. Also, with the we'll see how the 5G is indoor. Usually in Boulder, it's pretty good, but that could always affect the stream. But we're going to be there for you guys. If you have the notifications turned on, you'll get notified when we go live. Tomorrow, the Shedeur thing will be a bit spur of the moment. I'll try to get a notification up as far ahead of time as I can. But anyway, with that being said, guys, let's get in the chat, see what the people watching live think about this showdown for Saturday, and let's get into the chat here. Let me kind of scroll back and see what people have been saying. I see Shirley. Always good to see you, Shirley. Avanti, No Life King. Avanti earlier on said the microphone was low. Is this still low? Was I talking too low? You guys let me know. No Life King says Jimmy needs more catches. Drive me crazy. All right, there we go. King Tony Titan is not playing out for the year. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there. My bad. Avanti. I wanted to bet on the outcome, but we do heavily favored. I would need to put up 100 just to make $10. What if we parlay it? That's what I got to see. I got to see what the odds are if you take the over and CU to cover the spread. I didn't get those odds before I went on live tonight. I apologize. I'm going to put my bet in. If the odds are terrible for the parlay still, then I might not. But I'll let you guys know what I do with that. No Life King. Fear the upset. That's the proper mindset that winners have. You don't underestimate any opponent. You go into every match with respect and knowing that you have to play as hard against Utah as if it was Alabama. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but you know what I'm saying. Shirley. 41 CU, Utah 21. So we're pretty close. We're pretty close. I like that, Shirley. Good prediction. 42-6. Wilson playing QB, says King Tony Titan. Rose, the quarterback for Utah. He's out. All right, I got you. Yeah, Brandon Rose out for the season. So we're cutting out with the mic for Avanti. Is that happening for anybody else? If it is, I apologize. Hopefully the video is not going to be like that once it uploads. I think my connection is good here, so it could be on your end. It might be mine. Could be the technology. Going live always has little quirks and issues. All right, we got anything else from the chat? Or are we going to wrap this up for tonight? And then see you guys tomorrow. 5G network coverage permitting for Shedeur's pop-up. We'll live stream that. Audio is clear for me, says Steffi33. No Life King says, no, I'm good. Hopefully he's talking about the audio. So hopefully you guys are hearing that. That's just on. Okay, Avanti says that's better. Cool. All right, y'all. You guys got anything else? What else? Man, there was something I wanted to talk about, but just my head is all into the score prediction and into the. Again, let me just run down the events we got coming up the rest of the week, because it's a lot. And hopefully all the live streaming tech works for us, because it's a beautiful thing when it works. It's frustrating as hell when it doesn't. Tomorrow, turn on your notification bells, because I don't know exactly what time we're going to go live as Shedeur's pop-up, but I'm going to cover as much of it as they will let me. We're going to scoop some shoes and some merch and get some pictures and some signatures, and just, share the vibes of the event, just how the feel is, what it's like for all you guys watching around the world. That's tomorrow. Friday, 7:30. We got the pep rally on Pearl Street. Sometimes Coach Prime and the players show up, sometimes they don't. I would be surprised if they show up, because it's going to be madness. It was so crazy for the Cincinnati game, like I've never seen it. and you guys know what the hype is like right now. So I expect it to be a log jam of people on Pearl Street. The live streaming is usually good there because it's outdoors, so that'll be Friday night. Saturday morning, they open the parking lots at 5:30 a.m., y'all. That's Mountain Time, so that's 7:30 East Coast time, a.m., of course. I'm going to try to get there at 5:30 or 6 a.m. and get into Big Noon Kickoff as soon as they open up the pit so you guys can get a POV of what it's like to be in the pit at Big Noon. But then we're going to have to book it fairly quickly from there to make it to the Buffs walking into the stadium. The players entering the stadium. We'll get front row for that. And then we'll have the on-field warm-ups before the game starts. So that's what we got coming up this week, guys. This was our analysis video. It's good to see all you guys. We'll get a few more comments here. Avanti says favorite food. Man, that's tough because my roots are like Southern soul food, barbecue, biscuits and gravy, all that just, you know, my grandmother used to say sticks to your ribs. But I also make my own pizzas. Like I love my own homemade pizzas, like making different kinds of good pizza. And then last night we went to Shedeur's spot, which is called Steakhouse 316, and it's expensive, y'all. Last night was my birthday, so we went to Steakhouse 316. But they have this burger, and it's bison. It's a bison burger, which is kind of wrong if you're a Buffs fan to eat a bison burger. Nevertheless, I've had burgers all over the place, y'all, all over the United States, and it was the best burger I've ever had in my life. I would never say a burger was my favorite food, but that one last night is just sticking in my head. That Steakhouse 316. Shedeur goes there a lot. He wasn't there. He was there the night before last, but little pricey but phenomenal. I love Italian food. There's a lot of good food in Boulder. I love Thai food, good Chinese food. Man, food to me and music are like the same thing. I like lots of different kinds of music, lots of different kinds of food. What's up, King Tony Titan, new subscriber? Respect. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for helping the channel grow. You can see what we're doing over here, trying to show a lot of love and give flowers to Coach Prime in this atmosphere where so many people like me are looking to take shots at him and belittle him and try to be dismissive of what he's doing. And we're not having it over here. So, welcome to the channel. We're glad that you subscribed, King Tony Titan. No Life King says, Coach Prime recently stated he is home at CU. He will not take the Cowboys deal. Did y'all see him pick up his laptop and carry it to the balcony? And I've showed you guys that balcony on some of the live streams where we walk around the stadium. And that beautiful, you guys see the beautiful view on the well off videos on that video. But man, that made my heart warm. I'm glad you saw that too, No Life King. That's what we want to see. And no disrespect to any other city. I always say that when I talk about how much I love Boulder. Boulder is just a place that me and Mrs. Love and Liberty found that we fell in love with 15 years ago. And Coach Prime was my childhood hero. I mean, I went against family members, uncles and cousins, because my dad, my grandfather were Coach Prime fans, but other people in my family, for all the wrong reasons, you guys know, they were the Feinbaums of the world. And from a young age, I knew Dion was a good person when I was in 3rd grade, y'all. And I would argue with my edited word uncles, and it taught me life lessons from an early age. And then, of course, playing football with a wide diversity of people, going into the Marine Corps with a wide diversity of people. And Coach Prime has just always been there in my mind, even when he was just broadcasting. I followed from afar when he was at Jackson State, but I couldn't really tune into those games. And I wasn't really on the YouTube tip back then, so I didn't know about Well Off. But then for Coach Prime to show up here, that's why I just get so amped up about Boulder, just that it is a place because I moved from the Southeast. Me and Mrs. Love and Liberty, we went to Clemson. We ended up out here, traveled, picked this place from a lot of different places. Then 15 years later, my childhood icon ends up out here. So I get ecstatic about Boulder. I get excited when Coach Prime spins that laptop around and shows the same view that I fell in love with to his friends who are Hall of Famers. So that's what gets me going. There's so many beautiful cities in the country. Coach Prime is the GOAT. He can go wherever he wants, and we might follow him. If he left Boulder now, we might have to follow him. So it's all love to wherever you are, wherever you're from. There's beautiful places everywhere. We're just happy to be in Boulder at this time when Coach Prime is doing this movement. All right. Avanti says, you're going to be moving like Usain Bolt on Saturday. You know it. I'm going to be, you guys are going to see, I'll have the gimbal, so we'll have the steady cam, but I'm going to be sprinting from where Big 12 is over to the Buffs Walk. It probably, 500 yards. So you guys will get a little quarter-mile sprint out of me. You can check out Love and Liberty's speed in real time Saturday morning. Tune in for that. All right, Donnie King. They have to be Utah. I want them to win it all. His two sons and Travis are gone away. I want Prime to have and deserve that moment. I'm with you, Donnie King. This is the year. It feels like destiny. At the beginning of the year, I had them going 10-2. So I believed. I didn't pick the two teams that I thought they would lose to. I thought they would lose two games because they're a new team, which is pretty much what happened. I thought that they would drop 2 just because it's hard for a group of new players and coaches to come together in this super competitive, high-stakes atmosphere. But you guys see Pork Chop. Pork Chop's in on the analysis, y'all. Hey. All right. You made me lose my train of thought. This year being destiny. That's what I was on. And I thought they might lose 2 games, but I didn't think at the beginning of the year, even though I had a lot of confidence in this team, I didn't see them competing with Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Clemson, who's now ranked behind them, which is, hilarious for me. I didn't see that, but as we got to the UCF game, I just saw all the flashes in that game that I needed to see. And now we ruined UCF for the season. They've had a bad season. Now everybody says they're not that good. But you remember what they were saying before that game. So the experience of watching that game was like, all right, they got it. And then the Kansas State game, Travis going down, and it still felt like we were going to win. And we just gave up that huge play at the end. And Travis, Omarion, Jimmy, Will, right? Or Terrell, all went down. Four of them went down, starters. And we only lost by 3. Even then, I wasn't sure if they were going to hang with Alabama's, Georgia's, people with those kind of trenches. But now, some people watching this will call me crazy. I believe that if CU's playing their game in all phases, which I still don't believe they've done, I think they're peaking. I think they're getting better every game. And I think already, if they play the way they're playing, they can compete with all of these teams in the playoffs. And so why not this year with Shedeur, with Travis, with Coach Prime, with Shiloh? I hate when Shiloh gets left out. I love you, Shiloh. You are you also him, dog. You gotta see Shiloh hit somebody in person if you haven't. But you can feel it through the TV screen sometimes. And he came back from a broken arm, and his arm is still vulnerable, and he still wanted to play. His mind said, I'm gonna go out there and dominate. But in that first game back, his subconscious was still playing a little bit protection. His subconscious was overriding what he was trying to do. And so I don't fault Shiloh for that first game back. I believe he thought he was going to come in and be himself. If you guys saw his x-ray, his arm bone was broken half. It wasn't like some fracture crack in the bone. It was the bone was in two pieces. And he got back as fast as he could, and now he's just uh, unsung. Nobody wants to get hit from him. So once Taj Brooks takes a couple of hard licks from Shiloh, and that fumble he got robbed of on the goal line, y'all, in the last game, they didn't even show the replay. So don't ever let me leave out Shiloh. I will never leave out Shiloh. It's destiny this season. They got to win. I believe. I'm going to put on this prediction video so I can go back and show my receipts at the end of the season. I think they can win the Natty right now. I think they will dominate BYU in the Big 12 championship. I think they'll get a bye the first round of the playoffs. And y'all know we come out of them bye weeks rusty. That's what scares me, y'all. A bye week after the time after the Big 12 championship, watching all those other games. But I believe in Coach Mo. I believe in Coach Prime. He'll have them ready, and I think they're going to do it. I think the next game, which will be the Final Four, will be scrappy, maybe one of the best games of the season. We should look at who that could potentially be against. And then I think they're going to win it. And then who knows about the Natty, other than how could they lose if they make it there? If they make it to the Natty, how could it not be destiny? But we'll see. I look forward to watching all these games with you guys. For the rest of the season, though, I think we're going to be going to the games, so we won't have watch parties, but we'll stream everything we can up to kickoffs. Check the comments one more time before we head out of here. Avanti, what time you streaming the Big Noon Kickoff? We're going to get there at 5:30 or 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's 7:30 to 8 a.m. East Coast time. And as soon as I get to a place where there's interesting visuals, I'll start the stream. So that's why you guys got to hit the notification bell. Since I don't know exactly what time that's going to be, if you're going to be up early or you're on the East Coast and you want to make sure you don't miss that, hit the notification bell. Joel Klatt, former Buffs QB, says even if the Buffs end with 10-2 season, BYU will be the only one entering the playoffs. He just doesn't see a way in if BYU doesn't come down to 10-2. Not if we stomp them in the Big 12 championship, though, right? I mean, if we beat them in the Big 12 championship, we get in, and then I think it's iffy if BYU gets in. Let me know if that's what you're saying, No Life King. That's my feeling. I mean, I don't see how they don't get in if they win the Big 12 championship. I haven't heard that. What time is the event Friday night in Boulder? CU event. It's the pep rally on Pearl Street. It's called the Pearl Street Stampede. Sometime Coach Prime and the players show up. Sometimes they don't. It's always the band, the cheerleaders, different members of different athletic teams. And it's just kind of like, it's a pep rally. It's just people getting hype. So I hope Coach Prime and the players are there, but I'm thinking just from safety issues that it might be tough because it was so packed for Cincinnati, and it's going to be even crazier this Friday. This is what I'm saying. I'm with Avanti on this. I haven't heard anybody say differently, and I'm not sure that's what No Life King was saying, but Pretty Mimi says, will you come on after the game? You know what? Maybe I'll do a live stream if I have battery. I'll take my battery pack. I'll try to do a live stream leaving the game so you guys can see what, as soon as the game's over, I think I could start streaming again. So we could get, Travis always comes and gives Liana a hug. The players hug their families. They sign autographs for the kids. We could probably live stream that after the game. So maybe that's what we'll do, Pretty Mimi. That's a good idea. But I will keep post-game streams in mind for all the rest of the season since we are going to the games. But we're going to do whatever we can inside these stadiums. I know I'm not going to be able to take my gimbal. My gimbal, if you guys aren't familiar with video lingo, it's what makes the shots when I'm out walking around the town very smooth and balanced. It's a stabilizer. They won't let me take that in the stadium. So my footage is not going to be as smooth and stable in the footage, but I'll try to hold it at my phone as steady as I can for you guys. But still, when I'm not at the game, I love when people stream the warm-ups. I don't know why. I love to watch the warm-ups, and if I'm going to the game, I'm going to be there for the warm-ups. So, of course, we're going to stream it for any of you guys who are like me, guys or girls. Because that's the beautiful thing about YouTube and this movement that Bucky started. I mean, Bucky got me watching YouTube a lot for CU content, for following Coach Prime. I didn't know that was an option at Jackson State. I wasn't tuned into YouTube. And then, I found all the channels like you guys found, and I got inspired by a bunch of them, but specifically I Smoke Hip Hop Live and Harry B over at it's T4T Sports Club, TLP Sports Club, TLP Sports Club, Harry B. Both of them like told me like people like you should start a channel, and I just owe them so much gratitude and Bucky for starting because living in Boulder, I would be soaking it all in, but I wasn't gonna be sharing it like this with you guys, and it's been like such an amazing community because the people that like Coach Prime are good people. He brings together the type of people that you want somebody to build a community around. So I'll stop getting sappy, but I love this community. I love hanging out with you guys. I love being here to bring the live events to those of you who want to be here to see it, but just can't because you're physically not here. So we'll keep doing everything we can. Yeah, Vonti, I feel you. That's what I prefer to do on a Saturday. But again, and I appreciate you even considering waking up earlier for our stream. It will be posted, so you'll be able to catch it whenever after the fact if you don't catch it live. But this opportunity, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna be there, soak all of this season in that feels like destiny, document as much of it as we possibly can from a fan's perspective, because we've got the insider perspective with Bucky and Reach the People and those guys, and that can never be touched. But we've got our fan perspectives too, because they can only give us so much content. They can only feed us so much. So we got to have some auxiliary content to keep this hype, to keep it going. Because, man, if you grew up watching Michael Jordan like I did too, if you cared at all about Tiger Woods, see Tom Brady's whole career, see Deion's whole. I started with Coach Prime, but he's first and foremost for me. To see Mike Tyson's whole career, some of you in my generation that saw all of that. Now that we're this age, we might have taken it when we were young for granted that there was always going to be that kind of talent to watch, and those kind of moments of the feeling that we get seeing amazing feats be accomplished when people have been, especially when you get to see the behind the scenes sacrificing and grinding, the dedication, people like LeJontay and Will Shepherd leaving Prime opportunities to come be supporting roles because of Colorado becoming NFLU. And so that's our perspective. That's the fans' perspective. Donnie King, love your streams. Why I'm here. You give a good layout of the surroundings. I'm from Europe, so I'd like to see the site. And we do it for people like you, Donnie, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you get to see it with us. It's an honor to be able to share Boulder and whatever perspective that we can capture with you. And it's always good to hear from you. No Life King, from Klatt's perspective, if the only game BYU loses is in the championship, and if it is to CU, then BYU will go to the playoffs alone. That's crazy. So that is what No Life King is saying. It would be a revolution, y'all. It would be a revolution. I'm going to stop myself for that algorithm. I don't want to say inflammatory words. It's going to be problems if that happens. It's going to be some major. What you dropping in this chat, No Life King? You just changed the trajectory of my whole night. You trying to make me not sleep tonight? You and Joel Klatt? Nah, you're just bringing me what he said because that's Joel Klatt being crazy, man. I mean, I can't say that I know better than Joel Klatt, but if somebody on the street told me that, I would tell them they were insane. So I got to go back and watch his reasoning and his logic behind that because that's horrifying to hear. I want to we will definitely keep an eye on that story as the season goes on because that's some inflammatory ish. No Life King dropping bombs in the chat. Always good to see Shirley. Shirley, you know we're making it to the playoffs if they beat BYU. If they stomp BYU in the championship, who wants to see BYU play Oregon? If CU just demoralizes BYU, who's going to think that then BYU should go on? That's crazy, Clat. That's crazy. Joel? Pretty Mimi, just found your channel last night via the Texas Tech video. Thank you for speaking out on the foolishness of the ref and the ball boy. New subscriber. Thank you for joining us, Mimi. It's an honor to have you as a subscriber. And if you see some of the first videos that I did just out around Boulder by the creek, sitting in fields at parks by the stadium, that's how this channel got started, is making videos from me directed towards the people who look like me, who come at our goat with the foolishness, because it's embarrassing. And we have to distinguish that, as I said in some of my first videos, to quote Kendrick, they not like us. Paul Feinbaum, not like us. I don't like to start running off their names because I don't want to give them any love in the algorithm. I don't want to say their names. You all know who they are. They look like me. They say the sideways stuff they would never say to Coach Prime face to face, eye to eye. They can't shine his shoes, but they'll say the craziest things about him as a coach. And forever that will be a cornerstone of our channel, is trying to magnify and put a spotlight on the foolishness of those people and just really pick apart the type of issues that lead people like that to do what they did in Texas Tech. Some of the things I made videos about months ago that people were saying and doing, so that they become too embarrassed. There's got to be people like me making videos. I'm a tiny channel. I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but maybe one day. Or maybe Coach Prime picks up the right rebuttal to something that Pick Your Name says. And whoever it is, I'm just doing my part to put the truth out there the way that I see it, the way a lot of you guys see it. And we need more channels doing it. And I Smoke Hip Hop Live said we need more Caucasian channels doing it. And I was like, you know what? I'll watch every video he drops. I love this guy. I love how real he keeps it. And like, I can make video, like if he thinks people like me, and I live here, and I know that everybody who lives here is ride or die Coach Prime. The haters don't live here. And so a lot of my videos, first videos, were about that the haters don't live here. People in Boulder are ride or die. We were happy. We were happy last year. We are on cloud nine. Just don't leave us, Coach Prime. Even if you do, people here respect Coach Prime. They're not even going to be a mad. They respect the GOAT, and that's how it should be. So that's a lot of what this channel is about. Anyone see what Buffs TV been doing lately? Amazing cinematics production. You talking about the official school media team? Because yeah, it is. Cinematic is the word. It's as good as any cinema you will see visually. They literally have all the equipment, y'all. And that's when people talk about money being an issue. This school right here behind me, they don't have money as an issue. Like, they didn't spend money on football for the last 20 years because of a lot of different reasons, but they learned their lesson. They have the money. They just chose to put it in. They make rockets for NASA, airplanes, satellites, all the weather modification stuff y'all hear about. They be making in Boulder. They were investing in all of that, and they were just like, athletics is not really how this university, like, they're trying to see themselves as a Harvard or something like that, but they learned their lesson. You need athletics. And they love the fit of Coach Prime. Coach Prime was the perfect, nobody could be a more perfect head coach for Boulder. So this school right here, y'all, if Coach Prime puts an offer on their desk, they're going to sign it and say, thank you, Coach Prime, whatever you'd like to do. Would you like to be the mayor of Boulder? We can make you the mayor. Do you want to be the mayor? What do you want, Prime? It's not going to be Oregon offer him some money, Alabama, FSU, that CU can't match. So it's up to him. If he says, I want to go live in Tallahassee, or I want to live in Dallas, or I want to live in Vegas, cool. You're the GOAT. You get to decide that. But it's not going to be a money issue. It's not going to be a money issue. Yeah. No Life King, y'all. I'm not even getting to the bomb he dropped in the chat. If you didn't see it, it was on behalf of Joel Klatt. We are going to blame Joel Klatt. No Life King's just the messenger, but man, you messed up my sleep tonight, bro. I'm not going to lie. RG Young says all we got to do is win the championship and we're in. We riding on that, pretty Mimi. Hey, but what we can do is control our own destiny, and all of this doesn't matter if they don't dominate. Dominating Utah would be another statement against BYU because BYU struggled, and they lost that game, y'all. Let's be real. I tiptoed around it at the beginning of the video. That call was BS, man. I hate, and I'm going to say it every time without going far down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to go off in the left field, but you guys remember in 2, 3, 4, 5 years when we have AI referees, artificial intelligence, it's going to be cameras around the field, all around the field, little cameras, like they fly the cameras over now. It's all going to be done by video AI, the same way they're starting to do like loss prevention and a lot of high grade security. They're going to teach these AI the rules of football, and they're going to set the sensitivity threshold, and you're not going to have any more goofballs that look like me out there messing up these games. So again, not going to go down that rabbit hole, but when you guys see that, be like, where? Somebody told me it was going to be artificial intelligence referees. The L&L channel, baby. That's where we're going. Preach. What's up, Warren? Salute. Good to see you. 2 for Heisman, legendary, Operation Shedeur, all the above. With all of it. Donnie King, Coach Prime belongs there. The black and gold. Man, that's another thing. I'm glad, Donnie, you brought that up. I would never even bring up the black and gold. When I grew up in Tennessee, all my friends and family were Vols fans. I was a FSU fan because of Coach Prime. But even in the state of Tennessee, I liked Vanderbilt over Tennessee because of that black and gold. And I always liked the Buffs. Back on my Sega Genesis when Rashaan Salam, y'all remember Rashaan Salam for the Buffs? See, I've been keeping up with this my whole life. I played with Rashaan Salam on my whatever college video game it was on Sega Genesis. I haven't played video games in a long time, and when I was a kid, I had all the football video games. Play the Buffs, play with Vandy. The Buffs were decent on the game. Vandy was terrible, but I loved that black and gold. So I found my favorite city. 15 years later, childhood icon comes here. It's the black and gold. Come on, man. You already know I'm out there documenting all this stuff. I'm saying, Mimi, they lost. So we dominate Utah. Beat them by, let's beat them by worse than what I got here. But if we beat them 34-17, does that not send a statement against BYU? If we beat our common opponents by many more points, but we can't get that KSU game back, that's probably Joel Klatt's probably drawing something on that. But I don't care, man, because 2 is more than 1. If we stomp Utah and we stomp BYU, You can't put BYU ahead of us. That's crazy. That's crazy, Joel Klatt. All right, we got some dissension. Hey, respect. Like, it's just my opinion. And I respect your opinion. So, you guys help temper me, especially some of you guys whose opinions I respect. If you think the call was legit, I just think it had no bearing on the play. It had no bearing on the play. And that's where, as a ref and somebody who played football, and I've heard other analysts say, you could really call holding on any play. You could really call holding almost any time. And a ref should use a bit of discretion and say, that holding had an impact on the play or it didn't. I'm going to call it both ways. That one seemed like shenanigans to me, but I am biased. Even though we don't need BYU to lose, or I thought, Joel Klatt's now disagreeing. I feel like it doesn't matter if BYU loses that game, but of course we still want them to because they're ahead of us. So I was trying not to be biased, but man, I know that's a polarizing call. There's a lot of people who feel both ways on it. So, okay, if you saw an angle I didn't see, that's fair. I didn't go deep diving for other angles, so that's fair. I'll have to look into that. Too many sus calls, missed calls from the refs. I swear some of these refs' pockets get heavier every quarter. I feel Life King. It's the correlation between the shenanigans and the gambling becoming legal. It feels too strong to ignore for me, for my brain. And I like data, I like science, I like evidence, so I always hold my bias on one side, and I don't try to figure out exactly what their motivation is if I don't know, but like I can smell smoke. Warren G, Dino Up the Sco, we checking out your content. I love Dino Up the Sco. I try to tune in whenever I can. I don't keep track of all the. That's a newer one for me, but I always see now the algorithm has started showing me Dino Up the Sco, and so I tune in when I see it, and love the points of view there. It's an honor to have any of you guys watching both channels. I'm in the chat in all these channels too. You guys will see the Love and Liberty icon pop up wherever you're watching Buffs content. If I'm working at home or walking pork chop around Boulder, not making a video, I've got some kind of CU content playing, even if I'm just listening to it. And if I hear something spicy, I'll pull my phone out and throw up a comment. It's always good when I see the crossover between some people who show up here and in those other spots like Dino Up the Sco where we hang out. So good to see you guys. Much love, respect from Boulder to wherever you guys and your families are at. Lots of good live stuff coming this week for the game. All right, one more. We're going to get out of here, y'all. Uh-oh. This might take a second. He's not on the injury report, but that does not mean that C. Bacter Traveler is incorrect. I'm going to put that back up. Oh, man. We need Preston. I mean, with their fourth string quarterback, it's not going to be so much the Utah game. We just need him healthy in general. Because, oh my goodness. Preston, DJ, Colton. Y'all think I forgot Travis. Nah, we say Travis. We still got to say Travis first all the time, even if we do say him all the time. And those other guys don't get mad about it because Travis is him. But man, I say Preston, DJ, Colton, just to say their names because their names don't get said enough. Preston Hodge, Colton Hood, DJ McKinney, Shiloh, Cameron. We love Cameron on this channel. We ran into him on Halloween night. You guys can see that live video. And man, this whole defense, I could name off every player on the line, all our linebackers, all our secondary players. Can you imagine? I mean, I know some of them are going to be drafted higher than others. Some of them may have to go the Xavier Weaver route. But is there any weak links? Like, what's the weak What's the weak links on our defense, y'all? They're so good, and that's why I changed my opinion that they can beat an Oregon, an Alabama, a Georgia. But if they don't have Preston, you take out any of those key players and then you start matching them up against SEC teams who have weapons like we do. And I'm still not going to take them out of the fight, but with Preston, with Colton, with all of them, Travis, DJ, everybody, Shiloh, Cameron. And then when Stoutmeyer gets in there, Stoutmeyer's incredible, y'all. I mean, the depth, so we keep our guys fresh, hopefully injury-free. I thought when I saw a close-up of a knee brace, I saw Shedeur wearing a knee brace. And that kind of sketched me out a little bit, but they didn't say anything about it. He was moving around okay. I'm like, all right, they're just keeping it tight. But, man, we need Preston. Utah game will not be the make or break having Preston with Rose being injured. Fourth string quarterback, who are they going to have playing quarterback? Who's your fourth string quarterback? Who's our fourth string quarterback? That's crazy, man. So, but man, all best wishes to Preston Hodge. Preston, if you ever happen to see this or any of your family or friends, just from somebody who lives in Boulder, if we need to make a highlight video of you, bro. I know your name's starting to get blown up. It's starting to get bigger, but not even as much as you deserve. You got robbed on that interception and return for that bull pass interference call, and then they don't call any interference on Will Shepherd later. We see you, bro. You're balling. We see you, Colton. We see you, DJ. You guys are balling. Travis, you know everybody sees you. Chill out. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, turn up, Travis. Turn all the way up. Turn it up to 12. Turn it up to 15. Turn it up until the Texas Tech muff of the world can't be themselves anymore, bro. Wear your onesies. Do you, bro. Love seeing Travis. I love Shedeur's interview he did with, I'm not going to butcher that Hall of Fame soccer player's name. You guys know Abramovich. I think I can handle his last name. I'm not going to try it. If I could see it in front of me, I could say it, but from memory, I'll mess it up. But that dude gave Shedeur so much validation that he needed to hear, that as somebody older who kind of sees Shedeur going through what I saw Coach Prime go through, I'm like, I hope he's got people telling him these things, everything that the soccer guy, Abramovich, it was like, okay, if he's got people like that, and I know Tom Brady's telling him the same stuff, and that's why he's so unflappable in the face of all this disgusting and embarrassing hate and diminishment. Sometimes the hate against Shedeur is they just don't say his name in certain conversations. And in the Heisman conversation. Or they say other QB, like they say, if you say Dylan Gabriel on a sports show and you're talking about more than just Dylan Gabriel, you better say Shedeur at the same time. You better, if you're talking about quarterbacks and you're not mentioning his name, we see that. We see you too. And that's why channels like this exist. Y'all made it have to happen. Other fellow Mayo Nation embarrassments who we're not going to break you down like we did in our first videos and explain for the 100th time exactly why you are the way you are. If you're a hater and you're seeing this, go back to some of the first videos. I broke it down exactly who you are, why you are who you are, what happened that made you this way. And it's pretty simple. But man, you guys are loud. So we got to counter your noise. We got to have channels that just exist to give Shedeur and Coach Prime, DJ McKay, all of them, everybody we've been talking about, their flowers all the time because they deserve it. They're staying locked in. They're doing the damn thing, y'all. This could be the year. We'll see Joel Klatt's crazy comment about BYU. But tell me that if we stomp Utah and BYU, we're not getting in. I cannot buy that. Can't buy it, y'all. Okay. Let's couple of comments and we're gonna get out of here, y'all. Hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss the live events. Shedeur's pop-up is tomorrow. I don't know what time. Just hit the notification bell so when we go live, you'll see it. Or you can watch it after the fact. Utah, no QB. I think this is the week we will see. I think he's talking about a pick six sleeper. Yeah. Love me some pick sixes. Don't sleep on backup QBs. Brady was a backup, all fair. Keeping us in check, No Life King. That's real, though. You never know the dude who's been grinding in the shadows that everybody overlooked. Like the dude from Vanderbilt. What's his name? Pavia from Vanderbilt? There you go. And not that he was, I don't know if he was ever a fourth string anywhere, but you know he got overlooked, and that's how he ended up at Vanderbilt until he beat Alabama. And everybody was like, okay. So, yeah, we cannot give anybody who's been grinding in the shadows for Utah. Because let's be real, with their running back, and they got enough weapons, if a baller stepped in who just hasn't gotten his chance because of some seniority or this or that, or he plays out of his you-know-what, like he hasn't in practice, Buffs are caught sleeping. I don't see it happening. You guys don't see it happening, but this is the mindset No Life King is bringing up that championship teams have to have. You give them that respect and say, we're going to play like you're Milrow, even if you are no unknown. We're going to play you like you're Milrow, even if you're unknown. That's got to be the mindset. And if they do that, if Colorado does that, then I feel confident in this prediction or even a wider margin. Yep, he's underlining his point there. You guys see what No Life King is saying. Yeah, Sleeper talking about pick six. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Thank you, Donnie King. I knew if I could read it. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I know him. He used to play for Amsterdam football. Donnie's joining us from Europe, so it's football for him, soccer for us. So, see his name one more time. Watch this interview that Shedeur and Bucky did with this if you guys haven't seen it already. Most of you have probably already seen it, but this guy was giving Shedeur the validation that he needs to be himself from somebody who lived his life that way and had great success. And it's not about talking down on anybody. It's not about belittling anyone else. It's not about disrespecting your opponents. It's just about being yourself, like Coach Prime has always preached, like he's always done. That's what Shedeur does. And Shedeur goes above and beyond for kids in this community, to sign things for kids, to do things for kids that people never even see. He doesn't have to do any of that. He doesn't have to give us insights into his life with these little like podcasts and stuff. He doesn't need that money. He knows we want the content. He knows this is a moment, and he's here for it. This dude is so underrated in his brain, in his mind, because of the stats. Let's just put up his slide one more time because we talked about the maestro. I call him the maestro because he said he likes classical music. And I like I said, with food, with music, I eat everything. I listen to everything. I also like classical music. So when Shedeur said that, I also, listen to everything the players listen to. But like Shedeur, sometimes classical is the vibe. And I see him. He's like the maestro. He is a conductor. He's a problem solver. A maestro has got to be able to hold so many things in their brain at one time. They got to have so many different levels of consciousness and awareness and presence and preparation and knowledge. They got to know the material like the back of their hands to even step up to the podium. And that's how he plays quarterback. You play like this. Yeah, people say he's got a great quarterback mind. No, I'm talking about a mind as a human being. Shiloh too, Bucky too. Intellects and creativity and spirits that are just highly underrated and undercelebrated. And I don't understand why. This is such an opportunity for America when it's so divisive There's so much chaos and discord. And these are young men and a father that everybody in this country could look up to and celebrate having a moment. And the people missing the opportunity to celebrate that, they won't get our joy, y'all. Like, we can only do so much. We can tell them all the things I broke down about them in my first videos, psychoanalyzing them like Sigmund Freud might. Like, what makes you this? Because Dion was always asking, what makes people this way? I don't wake up feeling this way. Like, why do y'all wake up with this hate in your heart? He's like, I want y'all to win. Everyone in this room. How many times have y'all heard him say that? And so I started making videos like, okay, Coach Prime, I know these people. I grew up around a lot of them. I will tell you who they are. I'm not going to rehash it here. If you're a hater, go back and watch those videos. Tell me I'm wrong. Come on, debate me. Also, you guys, we'll start. I don't know how to manage like a call-in thing to the show. I want to figure that out. If you guys have ideas how to do it, hit me up in the comments. Some of the videos have my email address in there. It's just lalboulder@gmail. But we're always looking for ideas, guys, to build a community and what you guys want to see out here in Boulder. I'm a little late, Modi Mill. Joel Klatt, man. God, y'all gonna make me go back into this. No Life King, you see what you've done, bro? No Life King dropped this bomb that Joel Klatt said. Joel Klatt, according to No Life King, said even if Colorado beats BYU in the Big 12 championship, and that means that BYU only has one loss, that Joel Klatt thinks they're going to the playoffs and not Colorado. So let me repeat that, because the first time he said it, I was like, surely I misheard you. Surely you did not just say what I think you said. He said, if the Buffs go to the Big 12 championship and they beat BYU, who is still undefeated at that time, giving BYU their first loss, Joel Klatt says, according to No Life King, that a losing Big 12 championship BYU, but with that being their only loss, according to No Life King, who's reporting Joel Klatt, that BYU will get into the playoffs and not CU. I cannot see that, man. And I said when we first mentioned it that I'm not in a position to say that I know more than Joel Klatt by any means, but that just sounds crazy to me, bro. There will be a revolution. Something, it will not. Please save us from the chaos that would happen if Colorado beats BYU and gets snubbed for the playoffs. I can't even talk about it anymore, y'all. I'm not going to sleep tonight thinking about that. All right. Warren and Donnie got some ideas for me. Let's see here. Zlatan was just like his father, very confident, believed in himself, so it was a good interview, the perfect person for him to listen to. People who are overly intelligent listen to opera. That's what I'm here, Donnie King. Yeah, my brain is kicking up all the reasons that classical music and opera stimulate my brain, but that's a different conversation. But we were just mentioning it because Shedeur said he likes classical music, and I started calling Shedeur the maestro because his football IQ is talked about a lot, but his intelligence as a human being, his emotional intelligence, which is the same thing as his leadership intelligence, emotional intelligence, how you can keep it real when a receiver saying, man, I think I just sprained my ankle. You ready to catch this go ball? Because he knew, he's like, this is what he needs to hear right now. And all the interactions with Travis, where it's like brothers, he knows how to lead. Sometimes you gotta use the spur, sometimes you gotta use the treat. Sometimes you gotta use the pat, sometimes you gotta use the spur, sometimes you gotta use the carrot. terrible analogies, but this is why Shedeur is smarter than me. This is all I'm saying. Shedeur is so underrated, and playing on the team with Travis is a blessing and a curse. Like, this destiny is like him and Travis and Shiloh and Coach Prime and Bucky and all of these players all being together. At the same time, just like they always say, if he had a different last name and he played for another team in the SEC and he was just doing his own thing somewhere else, it would be like people would be asking, does Travis deserve the Heisman over Shedeur instead of anybody else? And so we just got to celebrate Shedeur when we get the chance, all these players, because Coach Prime, what he's done is he's just shown us recruiting like we have never seen. We've never seen personalities and talent and character and drive and discipline and motivation and spirit all on one team like this, unless it was fake, like Remember the Titans or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Coach Prime made Remember the Titans real, like, but it's better. It's a beautiful thing, as Bucky says, and you guys already know. Warren recommending StreamYard. I know about StreamYard. I'll check that out for doing calls. Donnie King says some podcasts do calls in Discord. I am very unfamiliar with Discord, but I know I need to research that. I've got a few people tell me to look into Discord, so I'm going to look at StreamYard and Discord. Google Talk, didn't think about that as a possibility, so all right. Thank you, guys. That's awesome. 3 good leads. Pretty Mimi. Alabama beat Georgia last year, gave them their first loss. Georgia did not make the playoffs last year. Hey, good point. That's the point that I'm going to hold on to right there. Put it back up again. Alabama beat Georgia last year, gave them their first loss, and Georgia didn't make the playoffs. I'm going to have to go do my own research on the Joel Klatt clip and try to figure out where he's coming from. I'm blindsided. I don't know what to say. I'm not prepared with, okay, well, Joel Klatt said this, but Aaron Murray said this, because there were a few weeks ago where Joel Klatt said, he was talking about the tiebreaker scenario before Iowa State lost. He was talking about a scenario where if Colorado doesn't make the Big 12 because Iowa State wins out and BYU win out, that there's no way they get in the playoffs. That same night, Aaron Murray, former quarterback for Georgia in the SEC, no Coach Prime ties, no Buffs affiliations, literally the opposite. He's a SEC guy, always has been. He's only covering this because it's interesting. He said, you cannot leave. He was saying back when the tiebreaker was in play, that if Iowa State makes it into the Big 12 championship and loses, that BYU should make it in, but that Colorado should also make it in, and saying that people he knew were saying that. So you got Aaron Murray back then with that issue, completely different take to Joel Klatt, and I'm just bringing them up because normally I would have these counterpoints for you guys, because if it's somebody who's been there, done that, I'm not one of these channels who's just going to pretend like I know things that Joel Klatt doesn't. I will say that it strikes me as crazy, and I need to hear more. And my heart disagrees, and my brain, like, I need to hear what you're talking about, Joel, because that makes no sense to me. But then if I have somebody equal, like, okay, well, Aaron Murray's been there and done that, and he says that they are going to make it. You know, that helps balance the scales for me. But I don't have anything like that for you guys because No Life King came in here and dropped a bomb on us, but also I wasn't prepared. Probably because I was making this analysis video. I've just been, making these slides, getting this ready. If you guys didn't tune in the beginning of this video is just boom, 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 straight through the analysis to the score prediction. I didn't even get into the chat till after we got done. And then we just been hanging out with you guys who are here watching, seeing, learning things from our community, like No Life King, that Joel Klatt dropped this bomb that he doesn't think CU gets in the playoffs if they beat BYU in the Big 12 championship, and that's BYU's only loss. That's what we're talking about. Okay, we got C. Bacter disputing, saying that's not what Joel said. I watched him say that it would allow for both teams to go. Now, I can see that. I can see that. If that's what he said, I'll sleep like a baby tonight. Let them both go. If that's what Joel's saying, I got no beef. No harm, no foul, nothing to worry about. So that's why I said I got to go back and see, because just like me, you guys are watching these streams. Sometimes I don't even know which one I'm watching because I'm working and I have the audio playing, and maybe one ended and YouTube's just like, I know you want live buff stuff, so here's TLP, here's I Smoke Hip Hop, here's Dino Up the Sco, here's Matt McChesney. And sometimes I can tell by the voices who I'm hearing. Sometimes I'm lost in the sauce. Sometimes I hear a sentence like that, but I didn't hear what was said 5 minutes before. So I'm hoping that's the case here. Hoping C. Bacter is correct. Let's hope that this is what Joel said, because that makes sense. That's fair to me. If we annihilate them, would I be fine if BYU didn't also make it? Of course. I don't care about BYU. But am I going to be mad if they both get in? No. As long as we get in, baby. That's all. Modi Mills says thank you. Right back at you. Thank you guys for being here. Love hanging out with you guys. Talking the buffs. No Life King says... So No Life King, you got to let us know... Okay, I'm scrolling further down in the chat. No Life King is saying... Joel Klatt saying no room for a 10-2 team. That's what he's saying. C. Bacter is saying that's not what he said, so we don't know, y'all. We're going to have to go. And when we're doing Shedeur's pop-up live tomorrow, we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to done my homework, and I'm going to watch the clip, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on what I think Joel was saying there, because I haven't seen it yet. Again, No Life King is saying this is the argument, because the playoff is stacked, too many teams without losses. I can go off on that logic, but we'll save it for tomorrow. Garrett Johnson, I've been a Purdue fan my entire life. Not one time have I ever considered giving up, but this season has been absolutely brutal. Shedeur Sanders should be higher in the Heisman voting over Travis Hunter. Respect for saying that, Garrett. We just gotta, wait, over Travis? Oh! I thought you were saying with Travis. Okay, hold on. Let me pump my brakes, because even Shedeur said give it to Travis. But hey, I'm all for, if you think Shedeur deserves it more than Travis, I'm here for that argument, because Shedeur is the most underrated. He's the most talented, most special, yet underrated player that I can remember in a long time. It's just like... You guys know. You guys know everything I want to say. Better than I can even articulate it right now. Shedeur, if he wanted to, he is on lots of commercials. He's there. He's in prime time. The youth of the world are getting to see him, but they're not doing the inserts. Like in media, it's called an insert. Like you're watching a game, and they have a little break or a timeout or something, and they show you a video that they made before the game. That's an insert. It should be inserts of what Shedeur is doing in the community every week. I don't know. Again, I'm biased. We'll talk about that more in other videos. C. Bacter and No Life King have different takes on the Joel Klatt thing. It says CU winning the Big 12 gives them 11-2 record and automatic bid. So, here's something we got to get into. Probably not in this video, but I saw this on Twitter, and it kind of messed me up because I've been seeing it the wrong way. I thought if you win the Big 12 championship, you're in, period, point blank, done deal. But the wording And we talked about this in the tiebreaker. These are legal documents, and you have to go and look at these documents and read the legalese. And the legalese of the CFP playoff rules say the highest ranked conference champions, or the five highest ranked. And there's more than five conferences. So if a conference champion is ranked higher than Colorado, they can choose that conference. So whereas I thought if we win the Big 12, legally it's a lock. You can't keep us out. That's the promise. You win the Big 12, you're in. That's not the promise. It's the highest ranked conference champions, and there's more conferences than there are slots. So we'll talk about that in another video. Utah wasn't the game. I don't have BYU's schedule to pull up here. But don't they still play Arizona State? Do they still play Kansas? They're still playing. Y'all let me know in the chat who BYU has coming up next, because Utah wasn't the game. I thought Utah could be a potential trap game for them, and it turned out like I think they lost that game. Avanti disagrees. A lot of people disagree. A lot of people see it on different sides. The score, the book, the official document says they lost. I still think BYU could drop a game, and that would make this point irrelevant. Like when we got into the tiebreaker, I said hopefully Iowa State helps us out and this whole tiebreaking thing becomes irrelevant. They went ahead and lost immediately. We didn't have to talk about tiebreakers anymore. So now that Joel Klatt has brought this up, I'm going to do my homework for you guys. I appreciate No Life King and C. Bacter for both bringing their perspectives on what Joel Klatt said. I'm going to go watch it for myself tonight. Tomorrow when we're live streaming for Shedeur's pop-up, before he does the interview, we'll have time to just hang out and chat, and we're going to talk about my takeaways after I get a chance to watch him say that for myself. Warren says we're going to the Natty. I believe, Warren. I'm with you. I think it's destiny. I'm putting it on the record because I think on some of these shows, people laugh. Even Colorado fan shows, people say that, and people in the chat laugh or whatever. That's fine. You can laugh at me and Warren for believing, but it's good because I don't say it lightly. I didn't say it until after. What was the game after Kansas State? Was that Cincinnati or Arizona? Seeing the Kansas State game, knowing that if we had Travis, then, okay, is Travis coming back or not? Because that's a big thing. Okay, Travis is back. He's not that hurt. Other than Omarion, the guys who got hurt in that game are all back. And then they went ahead and have done what they did against Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech. Now I believe. Now I'm going to put it on the record. I'm saying it on this video that's going to stay up till the end of the season no matter what happens. If they make it, Wednesday, November 13th, I'm locking in and saying I think they can make the Natty. I think they dominate the Big 12. I think their first playoff game, which hopefully is after the first round, hopefully they get a bye, but then they're going to have been sitting around for a while. I think that game is going to be the toughest of all. The first playoff game they play if they make the playoffs. And then if they get into the championship, then I just feel like it's destiny. And I feel like we're going to go. There's no way we're missing that game if they go. And we're just going to soak in destiny as a community, as people who united around good people and wanted to see good people succeed and beat the odds. Because that's what this community is. This community is people who aren't afraid to root for people who deserve it. And that's who Coach Prime is. That's Shedeur, that's Travis, that's Shiloh, that's Cam, that's the whole team. Can't name all these guys every time, but they all deserve it. All the linemen, all the guys playing the scout team, giving the guys the looks that they need, helping beat their bodies up, knowing they're never going to see the field. All the coaches who we don't get to see in the background, just washing the clothes, getting the food ready, on and on and on, man. So many people working together to help this vision come to fruition. And I love quoting Bucky saying it's a beautiful thing, because it is. That's just the best way to describe this whole little moment in time that we're all experiencing. It's a beautiful thing. Coach Prime is leading it. He's showing everybody how to do it. And he's showing us what a little army of Coach Prime, not clones, but people chiseled in Coach Prime's image of honor, integrity, kindness, positivity, love, self confidence, self belief, fearlessness, to know that even if y'all are throwing mud at me, I know all I'm doing is being self confident. I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so I'm going to keep doing me. Thank you very much. And that was something that I needed to hear as a young person. And now, as a not young person, I saw Coach Prime face to face today, guys. He was walking with Coach Pollock and Coach Phillips, um, right by the Buffalo statue, which you guys see behind me. That way, um, that's the indoor practice facility I'm pointing towards, uh, and then over here is the Champion Center. But they were coming out here, of the practice facility, and y'all, it was business. They were walking like, and whoever was talking, the other two were quiet. They were taking turns. Just it was intense. So I wasn't gonna pull the camera out. Uh, I had Pork Chop with me. He acts crazy if I run into people, but man, to see your childhood icon face to face, walking distance from where you live on a beautiful day, like, that's what I'm here for, y'all. Like, that's, and I just, as he walked by, they were all serious. I was like, "We love you, Coach Prime." And, he was locked in. He goes, "Thank you." He's like, caught him off guard. He goes, "Thank you." And just kept on going. And, like, again, man, just these moments to be able to be here and Coach Prime end up here and just run into him walking around campus, getting the vibes, the intensity. Y'all, they looked so, I don't know what they were talking about. Hopefully it was just good, game stuff and it's nothing serious to worry about, but they were intense. And he kind of chuckled when I said "we love you," which makes me think they were just talking strategy and it wasn't like anything super heavy. Um, Tomorrow we got Shedeur's pop up for you guys. You get to see how Shedeur interacts with the community. It's a beautiful thing. We'll witness it tomorrow. Steffi 33, always good to see you too. Yes, Natty, here comes the buffs. Gotta believe. Gotta believe. Man. Um, like the end of that Baylor game. You gotta believe. You gotta believe with this team. Woo! No Life King is just fanning the flames. He's just reporting the news, though, y'all. He's just reporting what Joel Klatt said. Um, I I feel sick. I gotta go watch that video. Uh, all right, all right. I was asking who BYU has left. Arizona and Houston. We know Houston can do it, and I just don't have faith in BYU, y'all. I watched their highlights this year. I know they have that tricky, hey, we're intellectual and we do these tricky run pass option, things. It's hard for the defense. Like, oh, where's the ball going? Is it this way? Is that way? Is it reverse this way? Is that? I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. Just line up and play football. Okay, that is football. Fair play to you, as some of the Europeans say, but I just don't. I don't like it. So I want to see you. I want to see you lose, BYU. I want to see this not even be an argument. What No Life King is talking about in here. Modi says BYU will lose to Arizona State. Okay, see, Arizona State is better than Houston. No Life King said Arizona. I thought it was Arizona State. If it's Arizona State, I like that even better. I love them having to play Arizona State and Houston. I could see them dropping one of those games for sure. Okay, No Life King corrected himself. It is Arizona State. Let's go. Let's go, pretty Mimi. We believe. Me and you and Steffi and my other guy, Warren. We believe. And a lot of you guys out there. DNVR and Uncle Neely been saying for weeks that the Big 12 is one of the Power Four, and by winning it, it will give them an automatic bid and a first-round bye. That is who I was basing my belief on before I saw this. Somebody said that on Twitter. Somebody else linked them to the official document. And I've got a data analysis background. I've also had to read a lot of contracts and things like that, so I can parse legalese somewhat. That's what we did with the tiebreaker videos. And I went and I read the official document, and my reading of the official document, we could do a video on this. My reading of the official document, going into it believing what you said DNVR and Uncle Neely are saying, when I read the official document, I said, uh-oh. It doesn't say Power 4. It says the 5 highest ranked conference champions. That's all it says. And from a legal point of view, all it says is all it says. They're very specific. We talked about this in the tiebreaker video. There's so much money on the line that they have to draw out these rules airtight before the season to cover their asses. Legally, politically, marketing, all of that stuff. And so when I read the official document, to me, the official document does not guarantee the winner of the Big 12 a spot unless they're one of the 5 highest ranked conference champions. It's clear we're gonna parse the Joel video. We're gonna talk about it during the Shedeur pop-up live stream tomorrow. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, if you want to help grow the channel. If you don't, hit the thumbs down, because that still helps the algorithm not show my channel to you anymore. So you won't have to see it if you don't like it. But if you do support, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Hit the notification so when we do go live, you guys are the first to know. And I'm going to do my homework on the Joel Klatt thing. We're going to get into it tomorrow. I was going to say I'm going to have on-screen pop-ups of the official document, and I can't do the Joel Klatt without getting copyrighted. We're just going to talk about it in the live stream tomorrow, because on mobile live streams, I can't do these graphics and all this stuff like you can, but it starts making the stream dicey. We'll have a separate video, and we're going to do a deep dive into the official rules. But we're going to wait until after this weekend, because if BYU loses, we don't have to waste the energy. So let's hope BYU loses, and we'll talk about it all tomorrow. We'll wait for Saturday. We'll see how everything plays out. Any given Saturday, you guys already know anything can happen. BYU shaky on their feet. Got a lot of help from the refs. Whether it was fair or not, it still saved their ass. Carl just says, ha. Sorry, that was a few minutes ago, so not sure what your ha ha ha. But what's up, Carl? Uh-oh. Phew, No Life Kings throwing grenades. I don't want to be hated for saying this, but the Buffs have to do it this year. Why? Peggy, I hear you. I hear you, bro. We feel that. Nah, that ain't a grenade. That's facts. All right, and we're going to wrap up with this, y'all. See ya from Avanti. Always good to see Avanti. Avanti's going to be at the stream tomorrow. The last thing I'm going to go through before we wrap it up for tonight, guys, is the live streams for this week, because there's several of them. Tomorrow is Shedeur's pop-up at the Nike store. We're going to cop some shoes, some merch, get it signed, maybe give some of it away in a raffle on the channel someday. Don't hold me to that. That's coming off the dome. If I can make that happen for you guys, if I can get some extra merch that I don't want to keep for myself and part with it in my soul, I would just raffle it off and give it to somebody on the channel. But hey, just tune in for the live stream. It's amazing to see these dudes interact with the community. There's going to be an interview with Shedeur. Maybe we'll get to ask some questions. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. Friday night, tomorrow's Thursday. That's a live stream. Shedeur's pop-up. Friday night is the pep rally on Pearl Street. It's called the Buff Stampede. It's going to be lit. It's going to be crazy. Sometimes the players show up. Sometimes they don't. You never know until it starts. They show up unannounced if they're going to show up, and everybody just goes crazy. It's fun either way. That's Friday. Shedeur pop-up Thursday. Pep rally Friday. Saturday. Early in the morning, like 5:30 a.m. Mountain Time, so 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be, when they open the gates to the pit of Big Noon Kickoff, we're going to be there live streaming to give you guys a fan's perspective, being at Big 12 Noon in the pit, hopefully front row. That's what we like to do. But we're going to have to dip out of there 30 minutes or an hour and sprint 500 yards to where the Buffs walk is, so we get front row for you guys for the Buffs to walk in the stadium. All live streaming on Saturday. After the Buffs walk, we're going to go in the stadium and we're going to live stream the warm-ups, Ralphie running, all the pregame stuff before the game starts. And then when the game's over, we're going to live stream the walk home, talk about how it went, show you guys Boulder, show you what the walk home looks like, show you what hopefully Boulder looks like as the stadium empties into the city after a big win. And hit the notification bell, guys, if y'all don't want to miss any of that. But with all that, guys, as always, it's love and liberty coming to you live from Boulder. Much love wherever you're watching from in the world. Keep believing. I'll see you guys in the chats of other streams tomorrow throughout the week. See you on the live stream. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in as always. And School Buffs! You already know. Peace, y'all.